Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. That means it's winning time. Welcome to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network. Zack Bodenstein with the fourth period, guys. David Pagnotta, Dennis Bernstein. And good morning to you both. Let's start with the Leafs because, Dave, it's not often you go to Scotiabank Arena, you get to watch a fun game. But that's what happened last night. It was a good one. It was sloppy. It was controversial. But just your takes from that Leafs-Panthers game. That was awesome for the fans, probably not so much for the coaches.
Not so much for managements of either team either. They were snapping, both teams, last night. I'm in the press box. I see these guys going nuts. I can hear them. The officiating was bad. League's probably not going to say anything about it, but whatever. It was crap. And for both teams, really. I know one team's going to favor the other, or fan base, but the game overall, yeah, it was exciting. It was my second exciting Leaf game of the season so far in Toronto. That St. Louis one was pretty good, but but this one, look, it was a good game. It was nice and back and forth. It was good to see life in the Florida Panthers on a back-to-back. They came away with 3 points and 3 or 4 points in 2 nights, solid. But Toronto needed to kind of bounce back and kind of get a little fire under their asses, and they were able to do it and pull out the W. So a good, exciting back and forth kind of game. William Nylander missing the penalty shot, shooting to the moon on the back end, comes back, gets the tying goal, gets the game winner in OT. Nice little script for him too.
DB, just your takes away from that game because, Florida has not been good all year. What are your takes on the Leafs and the Panthers, right now? I think we've kind of been talking about these two teams often and things haven't really changed, but your takeaways from yesterday as well.
Well, I think big picture, Zach, we talk about in the East is more competitive this year and there's more teams involved. And guess what? It's going to be Tampa and Toronto in the first round. Okay, so that's the first thing. So all these games, you're just leading up the game on Tampa and Toronto. To me, this is more about Florida. They have to get going. I've made a personal appeal, a couple of outlets over the last few days for Florida to be playing well over the next 6 games because there's a all-star game home for them, and I want some buzz in that city. And when you've been playing this mediocre hockey you have been all season, let's go. Everybody wake up. So this is the time for the Panthers. They got a point out of it. They are playing better, but there's ground to make up, and I don't think they can get away. Even if they won that game last night, Zach, that's not the path to get back to the playoffs and get in the top 8 in the East. They're going to have better defensively in the second half. They haven't been good. I expect offense from this team, but I think even with that effort last night, I think you can say, if not the most disappointing team this season, one of them in the NHL.
They've got a lot of work to do if they are going to make the playoffs. And keep in mind, they don't have their first-round pick. I think Montreal fans will remind you that once or twice a day. So, again, if things don't go right for them, if they don't go north, this is not a good situation for the Florida Panthers. Now let's talk about a former Florida Panther, Sam Montembeault. He's won 3 of his last 5 starts right now, Dave, for the Montreal Canadiens as they start to, pile some wins together. He's been putting together some, high 30 save performances. Are you hearing anything about him leading up to the deadline? What's the latest on Sam Montembeault, if there's anything at all?
Well, I think the Canadians think this is great for now, but that's enough. Let's get some L's in the
why are you winning games? What's the point?
Yeah.
Remember the playoffs.
Right.
Stop it.
Exactly. Evgeny Dadonov, 2 goals last night. Beautiful. Awesome. Let's up that trade value. Let's get things going. Mike Hoffman scoring as well. Perfect. One more year on his deal. Who wants him for 2 playoff runs? Great. Give us a call. Yeah, the Canadians, look, they're going to be open for business. They are open for business. They're willing to listen on pretty much anyone. Montembeault, I would imagine, is going to be, somebody that some teams would at least make an inquiry on, take a call on, and see if they can get him on the cheap. I don't know if the Canadians really want to do that, to be honest. You still want to play competitive hockey with a young team. You may not be winning, but at least if you're in it, you're doing some things right. You're feeling a little bit of confidence and a little boost in you, especially with that young defense. I'm not even talking about Caulfield, Suzuki, and Kirby Dach. I mean, they're doing great. It's the rest of the group, the rest of the young kids. Jordan Harris comes out, 2 assists on the season, his first multi-point night of his young career. Those are the kind of players that you want to start to see. Again, winning is going to be tough for the Canadians the rest of the stretch, but just to feel a little bit of confidence, know you're in the games. Hey, if we add a couple pieces next season, maybe we can start turning the tide here. So I think for the Canadians, they're going to listen on everybody, but you still want to remain competitive. So I don't know necessarily if they're overly eager to move him. They weren't eager to move Jake Allen, but other pieces on this team, yeah, I can definitely see the guys I mentioned: Joel Edmondson, David Savard, Sean Monahan, who's on LTIR right now, but he'll come off soon. They got some other pieces that they're probably going to focus on a little bit more.
Okay, so that's the Montreal Canadiens. DB, you're not buying it though, right? I mean, this is a lottery team. They're putting together a nice little run right now, but in terms of betting, looking at their games coming up, what is your take on the Montreal Canadiens? Because we know this isn't actually a good team and they will be worse after the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think a lot of overs here, Zach. Last night was a nice effort, surprising. Winnipeg, they were in first place coming in. That was a really nice win. That was a character builder. And to Dave's point, that does help the young defense. And so what you're talking about, the Goolies, the Jack Guys, the Kovaceviches, the Harrises. You're trying to formulate a defense of a young defense. Of course, that 2 to 3 seasons could be it. But when I watch this game, some of these games, even with a guy like Marty St. Louis behind the bench, who's not the most structured guy, I think players like playing with him because they can freelance. And Cole Caulfield is the first great example of them doing that. But I don't see a lot of defense coming from this team. And they do trade Montembeault or Allen at the deadline, and you're bringing up a goalie from Laval. There's going to be more goals again. So I think you got to look at the opponent, and most nights play the over with Montreal.
Overs have been a good play in the NHL overall. So let's get into tonight's games. We've got 5. Let's touch on all 5 because it's a pretty interesting slate. And you guys have some spicy takes on them, so I'm interested to hear your reasoning behind them. Odds for tonight brought to you by BetStamp. BetStamp shows you the odds from every sports book in one spot. You can always get the best value when betting. Check out betstamp.app today or download the BetStamp app on Android or iPhone. Let's start in the nation's capital for us, the Pens and the Sens. Pittsburgh, a favorite for tonight on the road. Both teams slumping right now. Pens have only won 3 of 11, and they've, again, coming off that win against the Ducks, which they probably should have lost. Top 6 is getting it done, but, no Jarry, no Letang. Things are kind of dicey right now. The Sens have lost 4 of their last 5, only 1 goal in their last 2 games. This is the only game I don't have a winner on, DB, tonight, but you do, and I'd love to hear the reason why.
Because the Penguins should have won 2 of their last 11. They should get like a point and a half for that win over the Ducks. Like, you're losing and you have to score in the last minute and win in overtime against Anaheim. Sorry, no, I just don't like them right now. I think missing Letang has a lot to do with it. Now Jarry's hurt as well. They're going through a bad stretch, and these teams are going to do a dance. I'm sure one of the next teams in the East. So one really good team out of the Metro is going to miss. Could it be Penguins? Yeah. I just don't like the way they're playing, Zach. So tonight, Ottawa minus 220 on the puck line. I think with that goal and a half, they might win the game outright, but I certainly like them on the puck line.
I think the Pens rebound here. I think this is an opportunity for them to kind of get back on track with Ottawa slumping.
Wait a minute. They're rebounding off a win. That's how bad the win was.
Well, I meant the stretch. The 3-11. They're going to keep it going because this is a team that, look, they need to, especially with the Islanders, and they're doing decently as well, but they're tied in points. Yeah, the Pens have a couple games in hand to the Isles, but I think this is an opportunity for them to collect a couple more points here tonight. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go, but I'm taking the Penguins on the money line either way.
I was on Twitter before the show. I don't know if it's confirmed at this point because I haven't been on since we started, but I think Josh Norris is making his return tonight. So that might factor into the line. So just look for that. Second game is, again, another one where we're going to get a nice little take here. Boston at the Islanders. The Bruins, of course, the favorite because why wouldn't they be? They just don't lose, right? David Pastrnak, 10 goals in his last 6 games. He's got 35 overall. Islanders have lost 5 of their last 6 games. They've only scored more than 3 once in their last 9 games. And they have to contend with not only the team defense of the Bruins, but also Linus Ullmark, who we've been talking about as the Vezina lock. But Dave, I need to go to you here because you've got a nice take on this game.
Yeah, I got the Islanders, and I got them on the money line. Every now and again, they're due for a win that kind of gets the fan base riled up again. You play a little shaky hockey. I think they're 500 in their last 10, 4-4-2 or something like that. I think this is an opportunity for maybe not necessarily an opportunity, but just a point in the season that the Islanders get a win when maybe they shouldn't. And against a team like Boston, it's definitely going to be a tough one tonight, so probably be a tighter one. But it kind of gets everybody riled up again, and the juice is flowing again. They need to make an add. This is a team that has to add to their offense. There's no sugarcoating that. I think everybody understands and knows that. But this might be one of those games that just kind of falls their way and then gets the fan base excited all over again. So with me getting Pittsburgh on the ML and the Islanders as well, I think that playoff race for that final wildcard spot is going to be a doozy as we get down the stretch. But for now, I got the Islanders over Boston.
Okay, so the Islanders lately have been scoring about as much as Brett Maher was for Cowboys. How many years? So I just, and you know what? People criticize Lou for not making moves in the offseason, and guess what? The team can't score. And what was the issue with this team in the offseason? The team can't score. Okay, so Lou, all right, the team's not playing like they want Lou to get an extension, and we've been reporting that for a while that he's this is on the last year of his deal. So I like Boston on the money line. Yeah, I get all the points Dave make against a different opponent, not this opponent. Boston money line, 167. Come on.
The line might change also, but no Ilya Sorokin. So Semyon Varlamov is finally getting a start in net. So if you can lock that in or whatever you're debating, just try to consider that because it looks like Varley is getting to go for the Islanders. Third game is the Colorado Avalanche at the Calgary Flames. Colorado plus money in this one. They're on the road. So it might be something to look into if you're looking at that. They've won their last 2. They're outscoring the opposition 13-3 in their last 2. Nathan McKinnon just on another planet right now. He's got 8 points, 18 shots in the last 3 games. Cale Makar, 9 points in the last 6 games. And we've been talking about Calgary a lot, guys, just how weird of a season they've been. A lot of turnover in the offseason. They've struggled with their goaltending. Their team defense has been an issue. And they're not even scoring that much. So, DB, I'll go back to you for this one. The Avs and the Flames. What are you looking at tonight?
Well, the weird thing about them, before I give you my bet, is that Vladar is 7-0-3 in the last 10, and Sutter's saying he's going to play Markstrom now, which is typical Daryl Sutter. Okay, so last season at this time, if I told you Flames and Avalanche were under or over 6, that was the bet. You'd say it was crazy. Over 6 in the first period. That's how much these teams have changed. But still, 6 is a low total for both these teams. So I like the over in the game between the Flames and the Avalanche.
It's plus money for Colorado, and they're healthier. Nikushkin's back, McKinnon's back, Makar's playing better. I don't care if it's Vladar or Markstrom in that, but I'm still going with Colorado. And they're plus money. So Colorado rejuvenated a little bit, knowing that they've got to light a fire under their butts and knowing that they're healthy again. I don't like this one for Calgary. So I'm sticking with Colorado on the money line. Again, it's plus money on that one. So I think we talked about the safe bets over every week since the season started. For me, I think this is the safer one.
I love what Jared Bednar is doing with his goalies right now. You had Georgiev take over, the bulk of the games in the first half of the season. Now they're kind of scaling him back a bit. This is a long-term play. This team still has to win games, but now they're getting Pavel Francouz in the mix now that he's healthy. He's started 3 straight. I don't know who's going to go tonight, obviously. But it's interesting because Colorado's going for this long-term play. Obviously, they need to start winning some games to get in the playoffs, and they have to preserve their players to do that. Getting Nichushkin back is huge too. So the Avs plus money seems like pretty good value there. That's what Dave is going with tonight. The Bolts are on the road in Vancouver, and I love talking about the Vancouver Canucks with you guys. It's just fun stuff. Tampa's won 4 in a row. They've also beat the Kraken, which is kind of an accomplishment in its own. I know they lost last night, but Tampa's playing some better hockey right now. The Canucks, of course, they had that presser. It's just been very cringe, very awkward for this organization right now. So that's off the ice, but also on the ice. It's just been a mess right now. 2-7 in the last 9. They did battle back and beat the Canes in a shootout. I think that was the last time they played on Sunday. But Dave, that was, a weird presser. This team is in a weird state right now. They're not playing the best hockey. They've got a really tough opponent in Tampa. What are you looking at tonight?
I'm still trying to dissect what the hell happened on Monday with Jim Rutherford's press conference. Here's the update on Tanner Pearson. And let's just do a State of the Union address on the whole team. Why not? There's going to be a lot of changes. It's been reported left, right, and center. Bruce is going to be out. Rick Tocchet's coming in. That'll happen eventually. They'll start making moves eventually. Rutherford admitting publicly that they have what they feel is their best offer on the table for Bo Horvat. I mean, there's obviously tactics in that. You want to give his side a little push. I don't think it's their final offer, but they're going to figure out all this stuff. They got to figure out Brock Besser. They got to figure out, a bunch of different players. They got to figure out Andrei Kuzmenko and his extension. They're going to start really getting into the negotiations in a couple of weeks here and try to see what makes sense. Short-term, long-term, how does the money going to work? They had the preliminary discussions and opened up those talks on the weekend. And because of that, obviously he's going to score tonight. So he's going to up that trade value. So I'm going with a Kuzmenko anytime goal because. And I'm staying away from the game itself because Tampa should just take this one home easily. But with all the crap and hoopla going on in Vancouver, I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden they came out with a win. But I'm just going to stay away from it. I'm sticking with the Kuzmenko anytime goal. And because Braden Point has been so nice to me this season, I am also taking, although separate, not comboing the two, I'm also taking a separate Braden Point anytime goal just because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah. See, there's going to be no defense in this game, particularly in the third period. That's the one thing with Vancouver. And it's funny, we talk about all the guys that Vancouver wants to take care of and maybe move and sign, and you never hear about a defenseman, which is what they really need. And that's why this team stinks.
Did we lose we might have lost DV there.
Now, what's going on with Demko? Is he the guy there? And so I like the over a goal and a half in the third period. I think Tampa might look at this as a trap game. But Zach, going back to the win against Seattle, the real accomplishment was Edmonton beating Seattle on the road because Seattle's a way better road team than a home team. So might be a game for Tampa, but I think there'll be a lot of goals in this game, especially in the third period. So I like the over a goal and a half in the third period.
All right, that's the Bolts and the Canucks. Last game that we'll talk about for tonight, the Dallas Stars at the San Jose Sharks. Of course, these two teams totally in different states right now. It's probable that Wedgwood starts tonight just because they've got the back-to-back in LA tomorrow. Jake Ottinger's just been tremendous. We talked about that last week, but it should be Wedgwood tonight. Again, that was the first time that Vegas was shut out the other day when Ottinger did that. Rope Hintz has missed the last 4, but looks like he may get back in tonight. So you might want to wait on that line depending on which way you want to go. The Sharks have lost 5 of the last 6. It's a team in transition. Obviously, we know there are a lot of rumors and a lot of discussions and discourse surrounding 2 of their best players, Erik Karlsson, Timo Meier. So this is just a weird one. This is probably a team, Dave, that I think unloads at the deadline as well. Why wouldn't they? But do you give the Sharks a chance tonight? Are you looking at a winner? Is there anything that catches your eye for the Sharks and the Stars?
They'll probably score a goal or 2. So that might be nice. And yeah, they do have other pieces that they can move. Matt Nieto, Nick Bonino. They may look around James Reimer if you're looking for a goaltender to see what's out there to kind of solidify things.
Wait. Why would trade for him if you're looking for a goaltender?
Well, because Cam Talbot might be a little too expensive. out of Ottawa.
But have you watched him and the other coach? This is the worst goaltending tandem in the NHL.
Well, that's why I'm taking this game in the over.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're looking for a goaltender.
Well, like some teams may just want to have that third guy in there in case something happens. So
if it's James Reimer, you didn't look that hard. That's my point.
Well, look, some of these GMs like to get comfortable in guys they're familiar with, so you never know.
Okay.
But as a third string guy that can step in if somebody goes down, don't be surprised if that happens by the deadline in the next 6 weeks. But to your point, yes, I am taking the over in this one. I think Dallas is just running away with it. But I'm going to take the over 6.5 in this game as well. I think the Stars get a couple because, Wedgwood, while he is solid and has done decently for them, the last game against Calgary, he gave up 6 goals, a little shaky in it. Yeah. Took Dallas a little while to kind of get back into it. It was a little too late, too little too late scenario. So I think the Sharks will light the lamp a few times. But Dallas is Dallas. Like, they've got so many different weapons and options. And I think they unload a lot of them tonight against Chicago, the Sharks.
Same thing.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, missing Hintz makes this a very different team because then you have to move Ty Sagan up to the first line. Wyatt Johnson moves up. A little less offense from this team, so the Hintz thing might affect the over/under. These teams start quickly though, so I like the over 1.5 in the first period between Dallas and San Jose. I do think Dallas should win pretty comfortably, but the other thing I really like in this game because of how they start games is the over 1.5 in the first.
Okay, so those are our 5 games for tonight. Again, quite a few takes for you to kind of take away from this because, again, we're dealing with a pretty loaded schedule, and we've got a lot of angles that we're attacking with these games, and some of them may be a little controversial, but we've got our reasoning, so that's always important. DB, your best bets and best prop bets for the night. We did touch on them, but just to recap in our segment here.
Okay. Well, I didn't disclose all my picks in the pre-show, so I do have a prop here. So my best bet
here we go.
Quentin Byfield doesn't play tonight, by the way. So
that's right. You know what? Alexander Barabanov cost me a perfect week last week. Still pissed about it. My best bet is Boston on the money line against the Islanders. But my prop is because prop starts with P. That is separate. Point, Pasta, and Pedersen, Elias Pedersen, are going to anytime goals tonight. The 3 Ps.
Okay. That makes me feel good because I picked Point for an anytime goal as well. The best bets, I think, again, Avs healthier, McCarr playing better, just everything they're rolling in. It's plus money right now. So I got Colorado on the money line in that one. I got an anytime goal as well, by the way, from Sidney Crosby. So it's Ottawa. I got Pittsburgh taking it, but anytime goal from Sidney Crosby as well. And then because it's contract talk season all week for Andrei Kuzmenko, obviously he's going to score, and Dan Milstein, his agent, gets to rub that in Patrick Alvin's face a little bit more. So I think that'll probably go down tonight. So I'm going with Kuzmenko as well, anytimer.
And a couple of our listeners, too, they're commenting here, and they make pretty good points because it is a back-to-back for Tampa tonight and then tomorrow in Edmonton. And the way Edmonton's been playing, it's likely that Brian Elliott goes tonight. And, of course, anytime you can avoid Andrei Vasilevsky, that's a win. So that's looking good for Andrei Kuzmenko tonight.
Right, exactly. It might not help the team overall, but
it'll help the third period over, for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. For my prop, I'll stick with a Penguin here, a Penguin forward. Jason Zucker, I feel like, he's the only one in their top 6 with plus value for an anytime point. I don't know about a goal or an assist, but Malkin's been hot, Raquel's been hot, and it's Ottawa again. I don't trust their defense. It's been kind of shaky lately, so that's what I'll go with there. And then for the best bets, I'm going to do a 4-leg parlay. This is the first time I've done it all year. And the only team I'm not touching is Pittsburgh here. I'm going to go with Boston, Colorado, Tampa, and Dallas all to win. It's plus 681. That really helps because Colorado's got the plus money, so that just kind of ups the value there. I know Dave is in agreement with me, but that's pretty much the way I'm going. I know, we're talking about 4 of the best teams in the league here, so duh, but I love the way it's all stacked.
It's interesting that Bodenstein picks like guys like Zucker and Hyman on his prop bet.
Hyman screwed me, but yeah, no, I know. It's I got to stick with the tribe.
I can say that because I'm Bernstein, so it's okay.
That's right. You know what? Once a week we'll do like Jewish prop bets, and then we'll.
I need more Italians in the league. If I get more Italians in the league, I'll jump all over that.
Yeah,
I figured there'd be some Esposito's offspring that would have came into the mix. Not really happening. Zuccarello's the closest, and he's like half.
Andrew Mangiapane plays tonight. You can always eat some bread.
Last season I was all over him. This season,
not so much. It's back
little standoffish right now for the local kid here in Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, those are the 5 games that we're talking about tonight. We've got obviously a lot to look forward to. We keep winning, which is awesome. Last week was great. Hyman screwed me, but 2 for 3, I'll take it. DB had a crazy week last week. We got some time here, so you can brag a little bit if you want.
No. I was going to bring the belt out, but like I said, Barabana, the Kings on the puck line, I won 4-3 against San Jose. So that was the Byfield one was fantastic. I was thinking like it's a shot one from the point, and I'm like, wait a minute, did Byfield actually score? Because it was his first goal of the year. So that was it's going to be tough to beat that one bet this year, Zach. So that was satisfying for sure.
Well, we all did pretty well last week for sure, and let's try to keep it going. No Cole Caulfield tonight, but I know Dave's kind of off that train for now, and he'll probably get back on eventually. But yeah, you've got your go-tos, and they've worked for you for the most part, which is good. I would say, all things considered, for the props for the anytime goals, you're up 1,000,000% this year. Yeah,
it's been good. That's why I'm going back to. I gave it a couple weeks for Braden Point when he hit that double for me. So I gave him a little bit of a buffer, so I'm expecting him to get one tonight. As I said, he's been pretty good. The anytimers have been solid for me, so I'm liking those. Last week, the Kings saved me, actually. The Kings on the money line saved me last week, which was a good one. So as long as I'm hitting one, that was probably my lowest one of the season, but that's okay because I'm back on the up tonight. Can't wait for this.
Big, nice goal. Huge.
And then I can't wait to chirp you guys afterwards in the group text when everything hits.
We're all in this together, guys. We're trying to win. We're collaborating, and we're up, and we're doing well. So, again, just tune into our best bets and best props and listen to what we pick for tonight because it's a juicy slate, and we've got some great picks for this Wednesday. Let's just keep winning. For Dave Pagnotta, Dennis Bernstein, I'm Zack Bodenstein. Thanks for watching. We will have a new crew tomorrow to bring you the best bets of the night and win you some more money. Thanks for watching.